Also today, the confirmation hearing for retired Marine General James Mad Dog Mattis. Mattis, Trump's Secretary of Defense pick, was approved by the Senate Armed Services Committee, and during the hearing, he broke with Trump on Russia and Iran. But this is the exchange that stood out to me.
You said the idea of putting women in there is not setting them up for success. Could we find a woman who could run fast enough? Of course we could. Could we find a few who could do the pull-ups? Of course we could. That's not the point. That's not the point at all. It's whether or not you want to mix arrows. And so in both of these question and answer sessions, you said you do not think you could do it. Have you changed your view on this issue?
Senator, I was not in a position to go back into government when I made those statements. There are many policies that have been enacted over many years, including the years since I've been on active duty. I'm coming in with the understanding that I lead the Department of Defense, and if someone brings me a problem, then I'll look at it. But I'm not coming in looking for problems.
Do you plan to oppose women serving in these combat roles?
I have no plan to oppose women in any aspect of our military.
Arizona Congresswoman Martha McSally is the first American woman to fly in combat, a 26-year Air Force veteran. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, too.
All right. What's your view on women in combat? Let's start there.
I strongly support us picking the best man for the job for any position in the military, even if she's a woman.
All right.
I've been an advocate for many, many years.
You heard the sound we just played about General Mattis.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you vote for him?
Well, I actually had a conversation with him on the phone yesterday as well. I wanted to make sure that some of my concerns were alleviated because he was supposed to testify before the House Armed Services Committee today, and he was pulled back by the transition team. So this was one of the three concerns that I wanted to bring up, that whether he was going to, because of some of his statements in the past, whether he would be rolling back this change that's opening up all positions finally to women in the military. He gave a similar answer to what he gave on the record today. I appreciate that he didn't outright come out and say he opposes it. The toothpaste is out of the tube. I mean, women have been showing valor. They've been, killing the bad guys in combat. They've been coming back with the wounds in war, given the ultimate sacrifice, earning silver stars. 3 of them made it through Ranger training already. We just are a merit-based society, and we shouldn't be excluding 51% of our population from competing for any job.
I'll tell you what I thought what caught my attention when the senator from New York said, "Do you plan to oppose women serving in these combat roles?" He didn't say no.
Yeah.
He said, "I have no plan." And the first thing I thought is, well, if that isn't leaving the door open, I have no plan. That means, he has no plan right now, but does he have a plan tomorrow or the next day? I thought his answers were not like, absolutely not. If a woman's qualified, she can do it.
I agree. I have concerns with his answer, and I got a similar answer yesterday where he basically said, previous Secretary of Defense made this decision, and I'm inheriting this department. I've got to focus on this job, and unless the service chiefs come to me with a problem, I don't intend to be moving anything in a different direction. So,
which never directly answers the question.
I know.
He doesn't say yes or no. He goes off on this, well, if there's a problem, I'm going to handle a problem. What does that mean? Are you for women in combat if qualified or not?
And he's grown up in that environment, often in all-male units, and this was, again, one of my concerns with him not coming to testify before us. We can't go back on this. I mean, we have shown that women have everything it takes to include the physical strength based on being an individual, and the courage, the aptitude, leadership, teamwork, all the things that it takes to in modern warfare, and we shouldn't be discriminating just based on whether you have ovaries or not.
And it was just so vague when he was asked. I mean, that's the problem.
Right.
All right. So we don't get a yes or no on that question.
Right.
And why did the transition team pull him from the House Armed Services Committee?
Well, you'll have to ask them.
What was their excuse?
But their reasoning conveyed through our chairman, Mac Thornberry, which he conveyed disappointment as well as myself and many others, is that they didn't want to have that precedent. He didn't appear before the Senate on this particular issue, but we have to pass a law in order to allow him to serve. There is a law on the books that says if you haven't been retired for more than 7 years, you need the law changed. You can't serve in this position. So I think it was a mistake for them to not provide that access. We ended up having a partisan vote coming out of committee for that particular waiver. I think we would have had more Democrats had he wanted, and he actually said he wanted to be there. It wasn't him. He was enthusiastic about appearing. It was going to be in the afternoon after his confirmation hearing, but he was willing to do it, and the administration, the transition team pulled it back. So I think that was a mistake and a very big disappointment for us.
Well, I want a yes or no on that question rather than the dodge. But let me thank you for your service in combat, and also Senator Duckworth as well. There were many people, many women. I could go on the list of women who've served in combat. But always nice to see you. Hope you're back.
Thank you, Greta.